and thank you for joining us. I'm John Adams, the Executive Director of Business Development here at DMP, and today we want to spend a little bit of time talking about the X1 and the X18 as an overview, as well as different applications for the product and how to design those applications. So let's begin talking about what is an X1, what is an X18. So first off, X1 as a series is our cloud-based access control system. So everything is managed from the virtual keypad app or browser, and on the dealer side, you manage it through Dealer Admin. So let's start with the X1. Each X1 is a single door controller. Each X1 also provides you with Ethernet or Wi-Fi connectivity and the ability to add cellular either as a backup or those applications where you might want cell only. So with X1, as long as you have power, you can have an access control door. Also, we provide you the ability to add on PoE. So if that's something that the customer's facility is able to provide, then you can power it using PoE. So now let's talk about the X18. The X18 includes one X1, and connected to that X1 are 7 what we call XDs, single door controllers. So in the application of an X1, you've got 7 door controllers and then your X1 that make the 8 doors. Also, it provides you with one 505-12 power supply. That power supply provides enough power to power not only all the devices in the X18, but also provide power to all of your door hardware as well as your readers. So now that we've talked about the X1 and the X18, let's compare the two to help you have a better understanding of when you might want to use one over the other. So again, the X1 is a single door controller. You can add on cell, but in the event that you're going to do cell on multiple doors, remember, you're going to need a cell communicator for each X1 that you install. The X18 is going to provide you up to 8 doors of access. The other thing to remember too with the X18 is that if you want to do cell only for all 8 doors, because they're all powered off one X1, you only need one cell communicator. So that's something to take into consideration when determining on a multi-door application whether you want to use an X1 or multiple X1s versus one X18. The X18 will only require one cellular communicator. So now that we've covered some of the basic specs of the X1 and the X18, let's go over a few different scenarios where you might use an X1 or an X18, or even some of both. So let's start with a small building that has 3 perimeter doors. You have the option of using 3 X1s in this application. So you would set up an X1 as close as possible to each door, and then you just have short wire runs from the X1 itself to your door hardware and your readers. So again, that's one of the nice things about the X1. You're not having to run any wiring back to a main control panel. You just have short wire runs from the X1 to the door. The size of the X1 is an advantage here in that it lets you get as close to that door as possible. So you'll set up the X1 at each specific door, connect your reader or your door and your door lock, and then connect it to power. Remember that if PoE is available, you can use a PoE module that is available from DMP to power both the X1 and provide power to the door hardware. And then we also have the option of cell. So if you're going to use a cellular communicator, remember that you do need one in this example for all 3 doors. Each X1 needs its own cell communicator. But this is still a great option, especially when network's not available. But if you choose not to use cellular, remember that you have the option on any of these doors to use Ethernet or Wi-Fi. And again, any 1 or 2 doors out of the 3 could be on Ethernet while the third is on Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter how you connect them. Just use whatever resource is easiest for you and meets the customer's needs. So now that we've talked about a small example of a building that might just be 3 doors, let's move on to another example. A larger building. So in this instance, we have 6 perimeter doors. Of course, we could use 6 different X1s if that's what's best for you and the customer. Or in this example, we'd recommend an X18. So you'd set up the X18 in an appropriate centralized location that's secure, and then you would run your wiring from the X18 out to the readers and the door hardware of each door. Again, even though we're not using 8 doors in this example, we're just using 6, you have everything you need within that X18. And as far as the monthly rates from SecureCom go, you're only charged for the doors that you're actually using. And again, also, now that we're at this number of doors, you might not want to have to spend the money on a cell communicator for every door. That's an advantage of the X18. You can provide connectivity, whether that's cellular as a backup or even cell only, for all of those doors with just one cellular communicator. And that's because of the design of the X18, and that it's one X1 with 7 door controllers attached. But it's as easy as positioning it in the best spot in the building and then run your cables out to the hardware to meet the need. So now let's go to a third example of applications using X1 and X18. So let's say we have 6 perimeter doors, and then we have another building that's a separate building that has 1 door. So in this example, we're going to use an X18 on that 6-door building. We're going to put it in a central location. We're going to use 1 cell communicator if we want cellular service as a backup or primary. Otherwise, we're going to use either Ethernet or Wi-Fi. We're going to connect those doors all back to that one X18. But now we have this other building that just has 1 door. So what do we want to use there? Well, we don't have to worry about running any wiring out to that building, trenching anything, running any conduit or anything like that. We can simply take an X1 and put it in that building. Again, it can be on cellular if you'd like it, or it can utilize Ethernet or Wi-Fi. We'll put that X1 at the door, just a short wire run from the X1 to our door hardware and readers. And when we load all of those into dealer admin, the end result for the customer is 7 doors. All one site. They don't have to manage it like that other X1 is a different system or in a different building. They get to manage all of those doors as one site. And so as you can see, whether it's a small system with 3 doors, a larger system that you're taking over, or a new install with 6, 7, 8 doors, or even a larger building with a detached building, the X1 and the X18 provide you everything you need to give the customer all of the features and benefits they're looking for, but also being efficient and effective and helping you increase your bottom line. If you'd like more information on the X1 and X18, please visit dmp.com. Thank you for spending time with us. Have a great day.